Jeremy, it wasn't your phone. It was on my end. I don't know what's the problem. So I figured I'm going to rename this and add cover into the title so people know what they're actually for. It's more like a crankbait than a. So I was trying to think what niche this would fall into, and to me, it's like a cross between a like a crankbait and a Zara spook. Is the best I can come up with. It's like an in between those two. A very low floating Zara spook. Yeah, Jeremy. Because I kept fishing it and I was like, what is this? Like what like I know what it is because it does what I want it to do, but I'm trying to figure out what category it falls into. And not just like the flotation of it, it's like the whole action of it. Because it's tight. Like when you reel it, it's tight. It's not too wide. Maybe I should change the caption of the shirt to say, "United, we kind of glide like tightly." But I think that's the fun of Jeremy. That's what I want to do. Is I don't have anywhere around here to do it, but I want to go. I want to go somewhere with grass, and I'm hoping I get to go up to Gunnersville this fall, and throw it around isolated stuff. Morgan, you want me to get Marty to make some spooks? I can do that. He's been uh, he's been asking me what I want. Yeah, Docs, it's great. But I want to throw it around grass. I haven't got to do that yet. Dude out in dude out in Texas, he got one of the first ones. He was throwing it around in February around grass, and it did really good. But I haven't personally got to grass test it yet. But that's what I think I'm most looking forward to, because like you don't have to worry about like you can get it around small clumps, and you don't have to worry about it like running into other stuff because it's got such a tight action. I can get him to put a knocker in them. Morgan, that was 100% a vixen. Rich, I don't know if I could get my problem with a deep diving balsa bait is one thing. They don't sell well. Nothing deep sells well in my category. Like I'm in the I'm in the boutique kind of category, and I don't think there's as many people out there willing to pay any amount of money for, and it's not just for an expensive handmade bait, for uh, anything deep diving that I've ever sold has never sold well. So I just kind of got away from it. So um, I think guys have their staples, their 5XDs or 6XDs, DD22, stuff like that, and that's where they stay. That's. But I think guys are more likely to experiment with shallow diving stuff um, than deep diving stuff. But ooh, a balsa rattler. Hmm. Y'all know the rub with the rattle, right? Between me and Marty. I love his rattle, but I have to cover it up. I have to paint over it. And I really don't like doing that. But if y'all want a rattle, I'll get him to do a rattle. Maybe I'll get him to put two in there. Double rattle. Do it like the old rattleback jig. Dual rattle chambers. That's what I've done before. Uh, Lunkers, I put. I just did a. I just did a little, like from like here forward was just was nude. I don't know what it is, and somebody can please explain this to me. Casey, if you're still there, I'd like some insight. And I lived in Texas. Texas dudes are obsessed with rattles. I don't know why. I don't know what it is, but I don't think there's any place in the country that is more dialed into rattles than Texas folks. And I don't like them. I mean, y'all know me. Every bait I sell and paint is rattleless. But seems like Texans really love. Now my YouTube's going out again. The crazy thing is, catch 1 7 to 10 on a rattling bait, and then for the next 20 years, all your baits rattle. Probably right. Or like your buddy that's in your bass club or you're fishing against, or somebody gets like lunker in the tournament you're fishing, they caught on a rattling crankbait, and you're like, well, he's throwing rattles. That old Bertha came on rattling bait. I gots to have them. Rattles are a different a delta thing. It's interesting. Maybe it's grass fish because there's a lot of grass lakes out in Texas. Grass on the delta. Maybe it's a grass thing. Like you see Sixth Sense talk about it. You see Castledine talk about, like the hybrid hunter and how loud the rattles are. Like that's like the big thing. Like, oh, this thing is so loud. You got to hear the rattles in this thing. And they're really dialed into the rattles. Being on fork with a bone spook, but he uses red and catches a giant. Then you have to search eBay. You finally get your magic bait in, and you catch Jack. Why does it always work like that? Like I can't tell y'all the amount of tournaments that I'm like stayed up like 3 nights in a row, like painting baits, getting ready for the tournament, and like always catching them on like something different than what I like had envisioned it. Or like it's not even like painting baits, tied up jigs, whatever. Spend all night tying up 20 jigs, and then you get out there and they're like smoking a buzzbait. Grass may break up the vibration through the water. That's another thing. If you got a fish in a grass bed, it might take a rattle to like put that fish on alert that something's like in the area that he might not be able to see. Whereas a silent bait and a fish in a tree is more, they can see better. They can see around them. And I think you get that element of surprise with the silent bait that you might not get with you pull a silent bait around a tree or through a tree or something, and it pops out. They react. You take a rattling bait through the same tree, the fish hears it coming, 30 feet away. So when it gets to them, they're like, yeah, I knew you were coming. Like, you're a dick. Nice try. But the I mean, a silent bait actually makes a lot of noise. If you've ever thrown one in a swimming pool, yeah, I think that's what it is. It's a difference in triggering versus tracking. So I would say, if you're throwing at targets, wood, bushes, docks, silent bait would probably be better because they don't need. You're trying to trigger it. You're not trying to, like you said, they're not trying to track it. But in grass, it might help a lot. Yeah, but next time you're at the Jeremy, that was part of my thing. Is like I knew everybody threw rattles, and I didn't care for them. And and the other main reason was that I always threw wood baits, and wood baits didn't have rattles. So, what do I need a rattle for? Hella says maybe it's because the grass might absorb some of the sound vibrations, whereas hardcover will rebound the sound to the fish and be too much. That's certainly plausible. So maybe we've learned grass and rattles, wood cover, silent. Silent baits do have a lot of sound. So if you're lounging around your swimming pool or your neighbor's pool or your community pool, pull a silent crankbait out and go throw it in the pool with the youngins and give it a listen. It's loud. It is loud. We're debunking some. Man, what a pretty bait. What a pretty bait. Sorry. I have some baits that are topwater that I definitely consider hard bottom baits. I don't even know what that means. Is that like bass fishing of the future? Say that about grass, but you can reel a worm through grass and it gets bit. Man, I think that's a different bait though. They find it. They do find it, but I think it takes that. I think you got to hit that fish on the head. Like they're not searching it out. Yeah, that they see it and they bite it. They might hear a bait and say, "What the fuck is that?" and then like go looking. I don't know. Who knows? Who the hell knows what these fish think? But I could get behind that. I could get behind that grass and rattle bite thing. Which I don't typically fish any grass down here. Mario, this is the native cover glide, the one I build. The fact that you're on all these streams and you don't know what this is, I'm doing a really shitty job of advertising. Catching lunkers is 2. Last time I checked. We'll see what these are. Yeah, 2.3. Somewhere in the 2 range. They fish light though, because they don't pull hard because the action's tight. It's really like I mean, they don't pull hardly at all, which I really, really like. Being a guy that